So you're thinking about buying a home in McKinney, Texas, and you want to know everything there is to know, like the good and the bad, the pros and the cons, the ups and the downs, and the forwards, the backwards, the side to side. Yeah, I guess we could throw in a lot of different directions in there, but mainly you want to understand what's the good and the bad of living in McKinney, Texas. Now, if you're local, you can simply just drive up there, of course, and check it out on your own, but we know we got a lot of people watching this channel from out of state. So we want to break down in this video exactly what makes McKinney good and also what you should be looking out for on the negative side whenever it comes to thinking about buying a home in McKinney. So McKinney is a beautiful town located about 30 miles northeast of Dallas, Texas, and it's about 37 miles to the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. So if you're going to be commuting, that's not so bad. I mean, everywhere takes about 30 minutes regardless, and if you don't hit any traffic, you should have an easy shot over to the airport. Now, the population in McKinney is around 211,000, and that's as of 2023. And McKinney has been ranked as one of the fastest growing, not only economically, but in population as well over the past several years. Now, if you look at something like niche.com, it's going to rate McKinney very high in several categories. And number one, public schools rated as an A+, crime and safety as a B-, housing as a B, nightlife as a B, good for families as an A, and diversity as an A as well. So overall, if you look at McKinney as a whole, it's got very good things going for it. A few more stats about McKinney is the median house is around $350,000. The median rent is around $1,500. And 65% of the residents own their homes. Now, the median income is going to be around $106,000, and that's because of the proximity of everything that's happening around McKinney. There's not necessarily a lot going on in McKinney itself as employment, but we will cover that later in this video. Even as late as 2014, Money Magazine ranked McKinney as the #1 city in America. Now, people have recommended it as one of the best cities to live in. It's far enough away from the hustle and bustle, but still near a lot of amenities. And there are some pros and cons to living in McKinney, and so here's a few of them. So in this video, what we're going to be covering is a few very important topics. Number one, affordable housing. Number two, a great community. Number three, quality education. Number four, job opportunities. Number five, easy access for commuters. Number six, low crime rates. And number seven, sports. So we're not going to waste any more time. Let's get into it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel, you want to know everything there is about living in Dallas, Texas and the surrounding areas like McKinney, well, subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market here in Dallas. My name's Levi, my business partner Travis, and the team and I get calls, texts, emails every single day from people just like you, and you, looking to make their move, and we love it. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. Happy to help you make that smooth move to Dallas. So as I mentioned, we're going to break down everything that you need to know about McKinney. So let's start off with affordable housing, our favorite subject, right? So people are always talking about getting priced out of the market. Now, that may seem the case for a lot of people right now, but if you look in McKinney, the lowest priced home that has been sold in the last 90 days is as low as $150,000. So you can find some deals in McKinney, and if you're starting out and you have a lower budget and you just need to get in a place, especially with great schools, you can find some homes around $150,000 in McKinney. Now, they're going to need some updates, likely. Some of them may be move-in ready, but depending upon your taste, they may need some tweaks here or there. Now, in the last 90 days, the highest sold home was $1.75 million. Now, if you look at what's been listed and what's currently on the market right now, the lowest active priced home is around $229,000. So we're not seeing many of those $150,000 homes right now, but they can pop up from time to time. And the most expensive listing on the market right now is $9.995, $9,995,000. Now, check out the stats of this house. It is an 8-bed, 12-bath, 14,665 square feet on 7.6 acres. So there are still some spots in McKinney. As dense as it is, there's plenty of room for growth in McKinney. It's on the outskirts, it's on the outer edge of the Dallas suburbs, meaning there is still some room to grow. There are several new construction communities going on in McKinney, and I tell you what, we've placed several families in some very affordable new construction communities all throughout McKinney. They're growing more on the north side and more on the northeast side where you're finding more prevalent land. And of course, that's where you'll be able to find some of these estates as far as 7.6 acres for up to $10 million. Now, $10 million is probably the top of the price range that you're ever going to find in McKinney, but depending on the acreage, and there's still plenty of it out there, you could find something a little bit more. But the cool thing about McKinney, as I mentioned earlier, it's enough away from the hustle and bustle, but again, being about 35 minutes from Dallas, driving, give or take, depending on traffic, you've got an easy shot down to downtown Dallas. However, most people don't travel to Dallas from McKinney. If they're going to venture outside of McKinney because you have plenty to do there, you might head over to Frisco or Allen or Prosper as well. I mean, you have everything in your backyard easily within 10 to 15 minutes. So it makes McKinney very desirable for being a little bit on the outside, not as overcrowded, or, some people think that actually traffic is getting pretty bad in Frisco, but you have a little bit more of a break over in McKinney unless you're going to be going down 380. That's another story, but they will be working on that soon as well. But otherwise, again, you can find very low priced housing in McKinney still up to this day. Right now, currently around the 200,000 range, all the way up to 10 million. So that puts the average list price around $545,000 in McKinney. And the average sales price is right around $530,000. So right now, even in this market, I know you're seeing a lot of information out there about everything's going to crash, but in McKinney, homes are still selling about 97.5% of their value. So there is some fluctuation, but it's not that much. Maybe getting $10,000 to $15,000 under a listed price. Now that's why you want to give us a call, because, maybe dropping the price $10,000 or, going in $10,000 under list price may not be the best strategy. Right now, concessions or buy down options to buy down the rate or other things that may benefit you better financially in the long run versus just $10,000 off the overall price may be a better fit for you. But that's why we always recommend give us a call so we can discuss your current situation, and that way we can see what may be the best fit for you. Now, if you're an investor, McKinney is a very highly desirable area. As we mentioned earlier, 65% of the residents own their home. So that's 35% of people that rent there. And it is a strong rental market. And if you're an investor, you're averaging about $1.21 per square foot on your rental. So that's a very simple calculation to look at the square footage of a property and multiply that by $1.21, and you'll be able to get a good idea of what you're likely going to rent that home for if you want to buy a single family residence for rental. In addition to that, rentals right now are going at 100, if not just slightly over 100% rental rate, which we are still seeing multiple offers and some bidding wars on rentals, especially whenever it comes to single family properties. So if you're an investor, this is a great time to be purchasing, especially in the McKinney area, because of the school districts, because of the proximity. It makes it very highly desirable, especially for people that are currently priced out of the market, or they want a certain size of a house, but the interest rates are forcing them down to a different price range, so they'd rather rent and wait. This is a good time for investors to pick up some properties because number one, you can get some concessions on those properties, and number two, with at 100 or even 101 to 102% rental rate, or at 100 to 101, 102% rental to list price, then that's very desirable for investors out there. And the average days on market for rentals right now is right at 30 days. So, that property may sit up to 30 days, but usually you're not worried about that as long as it gets rented. So overall, the numbers are looking very favorable for you. And depending on the size home you got currently in the market, the least priced rental went for $11.95 and the most priced rental went for $7,000. All right, so second pro on the list for McKinney is going to be a great community. Now, this is something that residents in there really pride themselves on because, again, you get that small town feel of McKinney even though you're in the middle of practically everything. So McKinney is a very welcoming community despite its population size, so moving to a new area can be hard, especially for children, but the residents are warm and friendly and help make adjustments easier. Now, one thing that makes the community friendly and welcoming is its hold on its history and culture. With the variety of events and festivals, there's frequently a chance to get together with friends and neighbors to celebrate. Now, McKinney is home to one of the oldest and most active historic downtowns in all of Dallas-Fort Worth. It's one of my favorite historic downtowns. We absolutely love it there. The downtown commercial district offers more than 120 unique small businesses and more than 24 locally owned and operated restaurants that offer some of the best dining in North Texas. And I tell you what, you go down to that square and check it out. It's amazing. I love how most of those restaurants and bars and boutique shops have maintained the integrity and the character of the interior and the exterior of that whole entire historic district. Plus, all the homes in that area over the several blocks surrounding it are my favorite because most of them have been remodeled, fixed up, modernized, but you still have the character of the outside. Usually a lot of the character and integrity of the inside, such as the original hardwood floors, the moldings, it just makes those homes absolutely some of my favorites in the whole Dallas area. Now, also social life is a high priority in McKinney, Texas. Now, there are many parks, historic downtown with museums, shops, and restaurants, golf courses, hiking trails, and lakes to fish and swim in. And for those who are trying different foods and eating out, McKinney has a great variety of restaurants. There's different foods from all around the world. There are Asian, Mexican, Southern, barbecue, and many others. Now, here's some of the museums that people like to frequent in McKinney. You have Hurd Craig Center for the Arts, Chestnut Square, and Collin County History Museum. And as far as music, McKinney has been seen as one of the music venues of the Dallas area. So going up there, listening to live bands, catching a show, is not hard to find. So some of the best venues for music are the Performing Arts Theater, the Art Club of McKinney, Jump Into Art Studio, and Kelly's Art Shack. All right, so that brings us to our third pro of living in McKinney, and that's going to be the educational system. Of course, here in the North Dallas area, almost anywhere has a pretty good school system. But McKinney is not short of having a good educational system as well, which is why people love it so much. So McKinney ISD is located in Collin County and primarily serves students in the city of McKinney. McKinney ISD also serves students in parts of New Hope, Allen, Fairview, Princeton, and Lowry Crossing. And those are just smaller surrounding areas right around McKinney. So if you look on the map, you'll see all those areas. Well, Allen's not small, but Fairview, Lowry Crossing, those are a little bit smaller and just kind of connect into McKinney. One of the fastest growing school districts in Texas, McKinney ISD currently enrolls more than 24,500 students in 20 elementary schools, 5 middle schools, 3 high schools, 2 alternative campuses, and 1 early childhood education center. Including administration and support, McKinney has over 68 facilities and stretches across 608 acres in totality. It's massive, especially whenever you look at the stadiums and the high schools there. So McKinney ISD was named a best place to work by Dallas Business Journal in 2016, 17, 2018, and 2019, and has been featured on Dallas Morning News Top 100 Places to Work. So overall, if you work in the school system, you're going to have a great opportunity to find a position there. Also in healthcare, there's several hospitals and healthcare facilities around McKinney and in McKinney. So if you're in the healthcare industry as well, this could be a good option. And that brings us to our next pro, which would be the job opportunities there in McKinney. Now, there's tons of great job opportunities in McKinney and the surrounding areas, and for those in healthcare, insurance, finance, and many other fields. Now, major companies have their headquarters in Dallas and the surrounding areas, including McKinney. So there's plenty of options for position at a great company. Now, some of these major companies located in McKinney are Globe Life, SRS Distribution, Independent Bank, Encore Wire, ScienceSoft, and many more. So there's plenty of opportunity to find work in McKinney, but also you've got Frisco next door, Prosper, Salina. Not a lot of jobs in Salina, unless you're in construction, probably in development, but Plano, and then of course downtown Dallas. You just can't go wrong. All right, another good pro of living in McKinney is really, commuting. If you are going to be commuting, you've got a straight shot down 75 to get to downtown Dallas. Now, 75 is not a tollway, so that's not going to cost you any additional money. However, it can get backed up, especially if you're going to be going to downtown Dallas in the morning or coming back in the evening. So that's why a lot of people that live in Plano or Frisco or Prosper will typically take the tollway, especially if they live on the west side. But since you're in McKinney, you've got a straight shot down 75, and just figure out different ways and different times that you should leave if you're going to be commuting. Otherwise, if you're going to be commuting to Plano or Frisco, then you don't really have to worry about it too much at all. There will still be a little bit of congestion probably, but you'll be able to navigate a lot easier around that. Now, the downside to commuting around McKinney is if you're going to be on 121. So if you want to head over to Frisco, you want to head over to Prosper, the main highway that splits that is 121 or SRT or the Sam Rayburn Tollway, which is a tollway, and that will cost you money. So going back and forth, and that's probably one of the main ways you'll want to head over to the airport. And if you do that, that's going to cost you a few tolls on the way to get over there. So just something to keep in mind if you're going to be taking 121 quite often. you're going to have to deal with the tolls. Now, another top pro of living in McKinney is going to be a low crime rate. There's really not a lot happening there whenever it comes to bad things. Now, of course, petty theft, burglaries, stolen items, things like that. You're going to find that pretty much everywhere. You're going to find that in McKinney as well. But as far as the really bad stuff, doesn't really happen there. So McKinney is a pretty safe city to live in with a relatively low crime rate, and its crime rate is considered 54% lower than the nation's average. So whether you have a family or are single or looking for a safe place to live in, McKinney is a great option. And you can check these stats on bestplaces.net or on the local police website. Then of course you've got sports in McKinney. I mean, come on. There's no shortage of sports, especially whenever it comes to high school football, Friday night lights. You've also got the TPC at Craig Ranch, for you golfers out there, which we featured that in one of our top neighborhoods of McKinney. Speaking of housing again, that top 8 neighborhoods in McKinney has some amazing neighborhoods, especially Adriatica Village. This was completely modeled after an old Croatian village. Pretty exclusive properties in there, but you go in there and you feel like you're literally going down the streets, especially with the lake that they built next to that. As you're driving through there, you've got some slopes, you've got old stones, everything built up. Inside of these homes and condos are absolutely amazing. Most of them have the water views. Kind of just gives you that real old European style feel. Pretty cool place. But other than that, Craig Ranch is also very highly desirable. By the way, we've had one of our top listing videos right on the 6th hole of the Craig Ranch in McKinney, Texas. That gives you a good idea of what's going on there and some of the size of homes that you can build off the golf course as well. So sports enthusiasts can enjoy a wide range of sports and recreation options when visiting McKinney. Now, whether visiting McKinney for youth sports, Friday night lights, NCAA football championships, or PGA golf qualifiers, you will enjoy the experience of cheering on your favorite athletes. Now, recreational opportunities abound as well, with facilities available for baseball, soccer, golf, cricket, lacrosse, disc golf, ice skating, hockey, skateboarding, tennis, or gymnastics, and of course swimming and other water fun at the City of McKinney's Apex and Center for Aquatics and Fitness. It's an amazing place. You have to check it out. On top of that, you've got Juanita Maxfield Aquatic Center, Old Settlers Park Aquatic Center, Senior Center Pool, and splash pads at many of the community parks, because it does get hot here in Dallas, and that would be one of the cons if you're not a fan of hot weather. Of course, if you live here, you already know, but if you don't live here, then it gets hot. But I tell you what, there's no shortage of splash pads, community pools, and aquatic centers in McKinney. It probably has the most out of the areas around here. In addition to that, you're close to Lake Levon, so you can just bop over to Lake Levon, or you can go over to Lake Louisville. Would be your two closest options for a nice day on the lake. And we absolutely love lake life here in Dallas. It's our beach, it's our mountains all in one. We get quite a bit of elevation changes around the lakes, so that makes it fun for hiking and biking and mountain biking and water skiing, cliff jumping, all of that good stuff that we just love to do. I mean, I love water skiing, one of my absolute favorite things to do during the summer. And the good thing is that it's pretty much summer here like 10 months of the year, so you can use the lake almost as often as you like. And even if it's a little bit colder, you can get out there and do some fishing or something like that. But otherwise, no shortage of activities going on. Plus, south of you, just over Allen, you have the Oak Point Park, which is over 800 acres. If you really want to get outdoorsy and hike and bike and zip line and all kinds of stuff, you can head over there. And that's in Plano, and that's really probably 15 minutes away from you there in McKinney. All right, now we got to get into some of the cons of living in McKinney, Texas, because it can't be all rainbows and unicorns, right? There's got to be some gloomy days in there somewhere. But mainly, I don't think anybody that comes to Dallas, or the North Dallas area is looking for public transportation. But if you are, it's just not there. It's not happening, okay? Unless you're in Plano. Plano is where the DART rail kind of comes to an end. So if you want to take the DART rail into downtown, if you're in McKinney, you could simply drive down to Plano and then take the DART rail if you really don't want to commute. And that could save you a little bit of traffic if you're a daily commuter to downtown Dallas. That would be one way to kind of get around that. Other than that, Dallas is a driving city, plain and simple. We love our cars. Everybody's got a car. The husband, the wife, kids, as soon as they're 16, working, they're getting cars, they're out cruising around. It's just a lot, but we've got a lot of roads and highways. The great thing about Dallas is we can keep growing out and out and out. We keep building those circle highways that go around. And so, as the expansion goes out, they're building the roads and the infrastructure. So Dallas is pretty good about that. What's funny is a lot of people will complain about the roads in Dallas, but I don't know. I think they're pretty good. And the highway system is pretty good as well here, and they keep adding them. The problem is they keep adding toll roads. It's like, stop it. We already pay taxes. Stop adding toll roads. I feel like that's double taxation anyways. And once they open the toll road, it never stops becoming a toll. And if you do the math on it, they've paid for that thing usually pretty quickly. I mean, I'll tell you what, they've gotten a pretty penny out of me. So the thing is that public transportation, not going to happen, not that available. Don't count on it. You're going to need a car or a huge Uber bill. All right, another one of the biggest complaints when it comes to McKinney is the property tax rate. Now, this is a kind of a complaint for a lot of people, especially moving from out of state into the Dallas area. They don't like property taxes. And I tell you what, we don't like them either. Now, there's several things you can do to combat that. You've got homestead exemptions. By the way, one of our team members, Betty, put out a great video on homestead exemptions. You've got senior exemptions. You've got military exemptions. You can hire law firms as well to protest your taxes for you. Usually they charge a low flat fee. I think it's well worth it. I've done it before as well, and they'll knock it out. And once you establish your homestead exemption, that also is going to put a cap on how they assess the value of your home going forward. So that's very important. So you want to look at everything you can to lower your tax burden on your property taxes. But here's how it breaks down in McKinney. So McKinney feeds into several ISDs, and if you're feeding into Allen ISD, tax rates are probably going to be around 2.5%. If you're feeding into Frisco ISD, probably around 2.35%. Into McKinney ISD, around 2.56%. And if you're feeding into Prosper ISD, around 2.56%. Now, those kind of fluctuate here or there, but that could give you an idea of an average. So really, if you find a place in McKinney that feeds into Frisco ISD, you could be at a slightly lower tax rate, which, hey, a penny saved is a penny earned, right? So even if it knocks a little bit off of there, then that should help you. Another one of the cons living in McKinney is going to be traffic, which I talked about a little bit earlier. I mean, if you're going to be commuting to downtown Dallas, and if you're commuting at the regular times, and what I mean is like, 7 to 9 and 3 to 5, I mean, you're going to hit traffic, plain and simple. It sucks on 75. It's not that great. And there's a few accidents here or there, and that really turns into a mess. And if it rains, or if it sleets, or if there's any ice, we're completely shut down. And if it rains, nobody can drive as well. So you just want to account for that additional time if you're going to be commuting to downtown Dallas. It's not going to be fun, I'll tell you that. But hey, pop in a good song on the radio, a song on your app or your playlist, or, an audio book. That'll kill the time, give you something to do, grab a coffee on the way, right? But otherwise, it's not going to be fun. Getting over to the airport, you want to account for that as well. Now, 121, because it is a toll road, it's going to be less congested than other places. So getting over to the airport, you shouldn't have too much trouble doing that. But otherwise, yeah, traffic could be an issue, but most people stay in their little pocket of McKinney or venture over to Frisco or Allen. And so therefore they're not doing a ton of commuting. By the way, you should check out our Allen pros and cons, our Frisco pros and cons, our Frisco blog, and our Prosper pros and cons, just so you can get a really good idea of what's going on in those areas as well. Very important to know, because you may want to, compare a couple of these areas back and forth. But otherwise, McKinney, absolutely awesome. You can get into new construction communities. You can find older homes. You can get them fixed up. You can find some land. You can find some privacy. You can find gated communities, expensive homes up to 10 million, inexpensive homes down towards 150,000. I mean, you've just got a wide array of everything. And as far as nightlife, again, with the Little Happening historic downtown and being one of the music venues in North Dallas, you've got some good options in McKinney. And that's why people love it so much, is because it's just a cool spot. And again, it's one of my favorite historic downtown areas, and plus all the historic homes around there. It's a great way to be right there, right off the highway, 75, easy access to get everywhere. And 75 is not that bad. So, you just got to time it accordingly, and you'll get to know that as you get to move around there. But we've helped several clients move into the McKinney area. They absolutely love it. Some of our team members live there as well. They love it. I mean, so overall, I would say the pros outweigh the cons, and we'll give it to the pros countryside. So it's a very good place to live, a lot of fun, tight-knit community, great education, low on crime, and very well diverse. Again, even niche.com gave it an A for diversity. So if that's something you're looking for, McKinney has it all. So we hope you found this helpful. And again, whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even schedule a Zoom call. All of that information is in the description below. And again, until next time, we hope to show you around town.